Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rev It Up Podcast, episode 20. The driver for number 20 is Ricky Thornton Jr. In this episode of Rev It Up, we'll cover results from the North-South 100, USMTS results from the Nevada Speedway and Lucas Oil Speedway, as well as local results from Deer Creek Speedway, Rock Rapids Speedway, as well as the Mason City Motor Speedway. Are you looking for speed on the track? Well, I have a solution for you, and that solution is Rage X. Get a hold of Harley Dice or Jake Tim today. They make B mods and A mods. And the best thing about Rage X is they don't just give you your car and send you off. They give you technical support with everything you need. And they're racers too. They'll help you throughout the season. So find your speed with Rage X chassis. You can find them at Rage X on Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by the Cresco Speedway. The Cresco Speedway's Labor Day Classic is set for September 6th. They have 7 featured classes. The featured class is the Tri-State Late Models, the baddest late models out of South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. Also, USRA Modifieds, USRA Stock Cars, USRA B-Mods, USRA Hobby Stocks, USRA Tuners, and Eco Mods. USRA points awarded. Gates open at 5 o'clock, hot laps at 6. Grandstands $25, pits $30. Bring a friend, bring your neighbor, bring everybody to the fastest track in Northeast Iowa. We'll see you at the races. Let's get into Rev It Up now. North-South 100 results from Thursday. They run 2 features each night on Thursday as well as Friday. Feature number 1 on Thursday, Brandon Shepard picked up the win. Behind him will be Garrett Albertson, Josh Rice, 3rd. Daniel McIntosh, 4th, up 7 spots. Chris Ferguson, 5th. Devin Moran, 6th. Clay Harris, 7th, up 5 spots. Trevor Landrum, 8th. Bobby Pierce, 9th, up 8 spots. And Shannon Babb, 10th, up 11. Mike Marlar wins feature number 2. Brandon Overton comes home 2nd. Hudson O'Neill comes up 6 spots to 3rd. Kyle Bronson will come home 4th, up 11 spots. Jonathan Davenport will come home 5th. Drake Troutman 6th. Carson Ferguson will come home 7th. Tyler Erb 8th. Ricky Thornton Jr. 9th. And Zach Dome will come home 10th, up 11 spots. USMTS Night 1, Brandon Davis wins out of Hayfield, Minnesota. Cade Dillard will come home 2nd. Gary Christian out of Broken Bow, Oklahoma will come home 3rd, up 2 spots. Happy Texas's Rodney Sanders will come home 4th. Kyle Brown will come home 5th, up 10 spots. Tanner Mullins will come home 6th, up 4 spots. Reese Solander out of Emporia, Kansas will come home 7th. And Tyler Davis will come home 8th. Cole Campbell will come home 9th. And Joe Duvall will come home 10th. Results from the Rock Rapids Speedway. Winning it is Tracy Haluska. Coming home 2nd will be Caleb Brunson. Coming home 3rd will be Dustin Gobronson. Joseph Zahn will come home 4th. And Cameron Jones will round out the top 5 in the USRA B mods. USRA Modifieds will look like Keegan Norenquist. Tanner Kosker coming home 2nd. Dustin Cruz out of Baltic, South Dakota will come home 3rd. Justin Kleisman will come home 4th, and Duke Erickson will round out the top 5, and Caden Brunner will come home in 6th. USRA Stock Car feature results. Austin Brands picks up the win, up 14 spots. Levi Vanderwhitey will come home 2nd, up 16. Rich Jerry comes home 3rd. Daniel Ekbland will come home 4th, and Jackson Moeller will round out the top 5. North-South 100, first feature. Brandon Overton picks up the win. Mike Marlar will come home 2nd. Hudson O'Neill will come home 3rd, up 8 spots. Jimmy Owens coming home 4th. Am Stricker coming home 5th. Carson Ferguson 6th. Ricky Thornton Jr. 7th. Dylan McCowan will come home 8th, up 10 spots. Shannon Babb 9th, up 12 spots. Ryan Montgomery will come home 10th, up 4. Josh Rice will win the Group 2 feature, up 2 spots. Bobby Pierce will come home 2nd. Zach Dome will come home 3rd. Dan Ebert 4th. Devin Moran will come home 5th. Tyler Erb will come home 6th. Jason Jamison will come home 7th, up 9 spots. Justin Ratcliffe will come home 8th, up 3 spots. Cade Loudy 9th. And Max Blair will come home 10th. USMTS results from Lucas Oil. Brandon Davis picks up the win out of Hayfield, Minnesota. Tyler Wolf comes home 2nd. Jim Chisholm will come home third. Rodney Sanders fourth. Tanner Mullins fifth. Tyler Davis sixth. Kyle Brown seventh. Terry Phillips eighth, up 7 spots. Nick Bittinger ninth, and Cole Campbell 10th, up 9 spots. That was one heck of a race between Tyler Wolf, Jim Chisholm, and Brandon Davis. Chisholm and Davis were going back and forth on the last 5 laps, tooth and nail, and then Wolf stole second away from Chisholm. A couple more laps, he might have stole the win away from Davis. North South 100 results. Josh Rice picks up the win in a interesting fashion. A big wreck took out about 13 cars. Some cars were able to continue, and some cars did not. But Josh Rice and Jonathan Davenport put on one heck of a show in the last couple of laps. Rice threw a big slider on him in the last corner and actually parked it on the wall and drove it off the wall to cross over Davenport and ended up winning. It was one heck of a race between Josh Rice and Jonathan Davenport, and Luke Morey almost came up and stole it away as they almost took each other out. And Josh Rice won, and the fans were going nuts. The fans were actually climbing the catch fence, and what a race it was! As a big win for the local guy, Josh Rice. As mentioned, Josh Rice gets the win out of Crittenton, Kentucky, up 6 spots. Jonathan Davenport comes home second. Luke Morey will come home third from Zeeland, Michigan, up 16. Devin Moran will come home fourth. Brandon Overton will come home fifth. Dallin Murdy, good run for the game changer out of Chelsea, Iowa, up 12 spots to sixth. And Clay Harris out of Jupiter, Florida, up 20 spots to seventh. Carson Ferguson out of Lincolnton, North Carolina will finish eighth. And Brian Shirley up 17 spots to ninth. Kyle Bronce will round out the top 10. USMTS results. Brandon Davis gets his fifth win with USMTS in a row as he goes up 6 spots to pick up the win. Tanner Mullins will come home second out of Wichita, Kansas. Rodney Sanders up 7 spots to come home third. Jim Chisholm will finish fourth. Jake Tim up 17 spots to finish fifth. Tyler Wolf will come home sixth. Tyler Davis will come home seventh. Reese Solander up 4 spots to come home eighth out of Emporia, Kansas. Madrid, Iowa's Kyle Brown will come home ninth, up 6 spots. Mexico, Missouri's Cole Campbell will come up 8 to 10th. USRA Hobby Stocks from the Deer Creek Speedway results. Luke Schluter will come home with the win, up 10 spots. Ryan Gorgon out of Stacyville will come home second. Seth Meyer out of New Albin, Iowa will come home third. Gavin Bartell will come home fourth. Caden Helly out of Garnerville, Iowa will come home fifth. Rylan Curtin out of Cresco will come home sixth, up 9 spots. Garrett Nemechek will come home seventh, up 12 spots from Byron. Jacob Munson out of Clear Lake, Iowa will come home eighth, up 5 spots. Carter Johnsgard out of Lewiston will come home ninth, up 5 spots. And Tanner Green out of Hampton will round out the top 10. Hunter Kennedy picks up the B mod win, up 2 spots. Jet Sorensen will come home second, up 10. Noah Grinstead will come home third. Taylor Skelgy will come home fourth, up 4 spots. Caden Kath out of Ellendale will come home fifth, up 15 spots in the Isaac Shaw's 4X car. Grady Dunbar will come home sixth. Jamie Hiller will come home seventh. Mason McEvers out of Rochester will come home eighth, up 6 spots. Trevor Fecht will come home ninth, up 9. Christopher Dino will round out the top 10 out of Manorville. USRA stock car results will look like this. Ross Spitzer out of Blooming Prairie, Minnesota will pick up the win. Travis Shipman out of Mason City, Iowa will come home second, up 7 spots. Derek Green out of Grenada will come home third, up 4 spots. Jacob Blease out of Chatfield will come home come home fourth, up 6 spots. Jason Schlangen will come home fifth, up 3 spots. Brandon Hare will come home sixth. Braden Brower out of Iota will come home seventh, up 10 spots. Blake Cole will come home eighth, up 12 spots. Cole Lonergan out of Dexter will come home ninth, and Braden Jerry will round out the top 10. Dustin Sorensen picks up the modified win, and Alex Williamson will come home second. Keith Foss third, up 2 spots. Harley Dice was really rolling the dice through the field with a very hard charge, up 18 spots to fourth. Nick Murgic will come home fifth. Brad Waits will come home sixth. Sean Walski out of Rolling Stone, Minnesota will come home seventh. Cole Benra out of Byron will come home eighth. Brett Brennan Gardner out of Hawkeye, Iowa will come home ninth, up 8 spots, and Joe Ludeman will round off the top 10. Mason City Motor Speedway results: Parker Anderson picks up the win. Colby Gopel will come home second, up 5 spots. Jacob Munson out of Clear Lake will come home third. Zach Smith out of Manly will come home fourth, up 2 spots. Brandon Sure out of Gardner will come home fifth, up 6 spots. Scott Doble will come home sixth. Brandon Sure actually came home fifth. Scott Doble came home sixth. Carter Coop will come home seventh, up 2 spots. Jonathan Hines will come home eighth, up 7 spots. Gavin Bartel will come home ninth, and Oliver Monson will come home 10th, up 6 spots. Taylor Scalgi picks up the USRAB mod win. Following him is Dan Hovden out of Decorah, up 5 spots to get second. George Norman will come home third. Ben Modry will come home fourth. Alex Weisinger will come home fifth. Duke Erickson will come home sixth. Taylor Curry will come home seventh. Jamie Hiller will come home eighth. Corbin Ludeman ninth, and Ashton Pankow will come home 10th. Kelly Shryock wins the USRA stock cars. He's now won the last 2 features at Mason City Motor Speedway. Shryock up 7 spots to pick up the win. Behind him will be Hare Nation's Brandon Harrow to come home second. Derek Green out of Grenada will come home third, up 3 spots. Braden Brower out of Eota will come home fourth. Travis Shipman will come home fifth. Chance Hollich will come home sixth. Jesse Brown will come home seventh. Jason Schlangen will come home eighth, up 2 spots. Kevin Opine will come home ninth, and Todd Staley will round out the top 10. Alex Williamson picks up the USRA modified win. Behind him will be Nick Murgic, up 3 spots to come home second. Landon Volkman will come home third, up 3 spots, and Harley Dice will come home fourth, up 9 spots. Blake Arndt out of Brownsdale will come home fifth, up 7 spots. Tyler Grooms out of Trenton, Missouri will come home sixth. Al Hanna will come home seventh. Jaden Larson will come home eighth. Kevin Stowe will come home ninth. Tayton Hansen will come home 10th. Jacob Stark will come home 11th. Darwin Carew 12th. And Lyle Sadoff will come home 13th. Rev It Up's power rankings for this week in the USRA stock car division. At number 1, it'll be Derek Green in the 32. He was 6th last week. Number 2 will be Travis Shipman in the 87. 3 will be Braden Brower in the 34. He was 2nd last week. 4th will be Brandon Hare. He was not ranked last week, but he was 1 the previous week. 5th will be Jason Schlang in the 27S. 6th will be Blake Cole. 7th will be Ross Spitzler in the 36. He won at Deer Creek on Saturday. 8th will be Jacob Blease in the 21. 9th will be Jake James in the 16. He actually builds his own race car. And 10th will be Kelly Shryock in the 3. He was 4th last week after the big win at Mason City. 2 weeks in a row for Kelly Shryock. B-Mod Power Rankings for this week. Dustin Cruz will be number 1. He was 2 last week. Number 2 will be Taylor Scalgi in the 32. He was 1 last week. Number 3 will be Tanner Kosker in the 97K. He was ranked number 7 last week. 4th will be Caden Cath in the Isaac Shaw entry in the 4S. He was not ranked last week. Jet Sorensen will be 5th in the 54. Hunter Kennedy will be 6th in the O2K. Nick Kramer will be 7th in the 79K. 8th will be Keegan Norquist in the NF1 with his big win at the Rock Rapids Speedway. 9th will be Jamie Hillier in the 22. And in 10th will be Noah Grinstead in the 99. Hobby Stock Power Rankings. Dustin Gobronson will be number 1. He was ranked 3rd last week. Tracy Haluska in the Z86 enters the Power Rankings. Jacob Monson in the 25. He fell out last week, but he was ranked the week before. He'll be 3rd. Luke Schluter enters the Power Rankings for the first time. He'll be 4th. Jeff Zahn enters the Power Rankings also for the first time. Rylan Curtin makes his first entrance to the Power Rankings. He'll be 6th. Gary Nemechek will be in the power rankings. Gavin Bartel falls down the power rankings a little bit from last week. He'll fall down to 8th. He was 2nd. Ryan Gorgon in the G12 car, he'll be 9th in the power rankings. And Parker Anderson will round out the top 10 in the Rev It Up power rankings. He was 8th last week, but he's been in the power rankings since the beginning of the Rev It Up power rankings. USRA Modified Power Rankings. The Dice Man will head back to 1 after he fell down to 8th last week. He was number 1 the week before. So Harley Dice, number 1 in the 87 8th H. He was 8th last week. Alex Williamson will head back to 2 after falling to 6 last week, and he'll head back to number 2. Nick Murgic will be 3rd. He was 5th last week. He's been in it every time. Dustin Sorensen will be 4th, his entrance into the power rankings. Keith Foss will be 5th. He was in the power rankings for the first edition. Brett Bumgarner will in the 23B will be 6th. Sean Walski will be 7th. Blake Arndt will be 8th. Landon Volkman back in the power rankings. He was 10th in the first edition. He'll be 9th. And Darwin Carew will make his first entrance into the power rankings in 10th. That will be it of this week's edition of Rev It Up. Make sure you get out and support your local racetrack next week, wherever that is. And you've been listening to Rev It Up.